there is a silent struggle most men never speak about. The kind of struggle that gnaws at you in the dark. You give your best, you stay loyal, you sacrifice, and yet she drifts, tests, pulls away. It makes you question your worth as a man. You start chasing instead of leading, and the more you chase, the less she desires you. Here's the paradox. The thing that makes women obsess is not pursuit but distance, not pleading but restraint, not craving her validation but mastering your own. Female psychology bends toward strength. Relationship power dynamics tilt when you lose your emotional discipline. The man who clings becomes forgettable. The man who detaches becomes unforgettable. In modern dating trauma, betrayal and lust are constant shadows. But in those shadows lies a secret most men never uncover. The secret is not about control over her. It is about control over yourself. So ask yourself, when she tests your value, will you break? Or will you stand silent, untouchable, and make her hunger for you? Point number 1. The hunger behind female obsession. Have you ever wondered why the same woman who once begged for your attention now pulls away when you give her all of it? It feels like a trap. The more you feed her hunger, the faster it vanishes. The more you chase, the further she drifts. That is the cruel rhythm of female psychology. Obsession is never born from what you hand over easily. It grows in the tension between your silence and her curiosity. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If your thoughts are desperation, your soul stains with weakness. And no woman obsesses over weakness. In Rome, men understood this in their bones. The general who ruled his soldiers with stoic detachment inspired both fear and loyalty. He didn't beg for respect, and he stood as its standard. The same law applies in modern dating trauma. Think of the unanswered text on your phone. Think of the woman who goes cold after you over-explain yourself. Think of how quickly value as a man erodes when you prove you need her more than she needs you. This is not about cruelty. It is about masculine control. Relationship power dynamics tilt only when your discipline collapses. Female obsession is not triggered by gifts or confessions. It is triggered by emotional discipline that makes her question if she can reach you. Obsession comes from the unknown, and stoic silence makes you unknowable. Every time you feel the urge to explain, plead, or chase to stop, that hunger you feel to win her back is the very thing killing her hunger for you. Train your silence, and ask yourself, when she withdraws, do you collapse into need, or do you hold the frame that pulls her back into your orbit? Point number 2, why weakness kills desire. She may smile at you. She may even say she loves you. But the moment she senses weakness, something in her eyes changes. It's subtle. A silence after your apology. A glance toward the door instead of you. A flicker of boredom when you give away too much of yourself. This is the law most men refuse to face. Weakness kills desire. Not tomorrow. Not slowly, instantly. Epictetus warned, "No man is free who is not a master of himself." Freedom begins with emotional discipline. Lose that and you lose her obsession. The ancients understood this. A soldier who panicked in formation endangered the entire legion. One collapse spread like fire, undoing years of order. The same collapse happens in modern dating. The man who begs after rejection. The man who explains betrayal. The man who trades his masculine frame for validation he'll never truly receive. Female psychology cannot crave what it does not respect, and respect dies the second you hand over your control. When your world revolves around her approval, you make her the sun and you the shadow. Desire withers there. Because desire is born in tension, not surrender. It grows from strength held back, not weakness exposed. So guard your silence. Hold your center. Never explain away your value as a man. Never negotiate your worth. Ask yourself this. How many times have you handed away her attraction in a single moment of panic? Point number 3. Emotional control as silent power. She will never tell you this. But every test, every argument, every cold withdrawal is designed to measure one thing: your control over yourself. Not your job, not your muscles, not even your money, but whether your emotions run you or you run them. A man who cannot hold silence under pressure is a man already broken. And a broken man cannot lead. Seneca wrote, "He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior." No war is bloodier than the one inside you, and no victory earns more respect than the man who never flinches. In the ancient courts of Rome, men were judged not only by their words but by their composure. A man who lost his temper lost credibility. A man who stood calm while the accused carried a power that could not be shaken. Fast forward to today, you face a storm of unread texts, online betrayal, public shaming, divorce papers, or a woman dangling affection like a weapon. Modern dating trauma demands the same armor the ancients wore: Stoic detachment. Female psychology is wired to feel the pulse of your reactions. Every outburst, every plea, every over-explanation tells her the truth. That you are not in command, that you are easy to control. But when your frame holds steady, when your silence answers louder than words, something shifts. Desire sharpens. Respect rises. Obsession awakens. Because emotional control is invisible, but it is not weak. It is the quiet power that rearranges relationship power dynamics without a single word spoken. Train your silence. Ask yourself, if she cannot move you with anger, guilt, or lust, what power does she truly have over you? Point number 4. Stoic detachment in modern dating. She pulls away, then returns. She tests, then forgives. She disappears for days only to reappear with a smile, and you feel the cycle draining you. One moment you're her world, the next you're a placeholder. This is modern dating, a battlefield of shifting rules and hidden power games. What keeps most men enslaved is not her beauty, but their own reactions. The constant urge to check the phone. The need to explain themselves in paragraphs. The fear of losing what was never secured. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That is detachment, not coldness, not cruelty, but the refusal to let her instability dictate your center. In ancient times, Stoics trained for loss before it arrived. They imagined death, betrayal, and exile so they would never be surprised. And when loss came, they stood, unbroken. Now picture the modern man, scrolling her social media at 2 a.m., arguing with shadows, begging for clarity, drowning in female rejection. All because he forgot the discipline of detachment. Female psychology feeds on reaction. Every desperate text, every emotional collapse confirms she owns the frame. But when you stand unmoved, you fracture the script. You become the one she cannot predict. Stoic detachment in modern dating is not about walking away. It is about standing so firm that nothing can pull you off balance. It is about emotional discipline so sharp, her tests become irrelevant. Never negotiate your value. Ask yourself, if her chaos no longer shakes you, do you lose her? Or does she finally see the man she cannot control? Point number 5. Betrayal, lust, and the masculine frame. Nothing cuts deeper than betrayal. It isn't just her lies or her silence. It's the moment you realize your trust was handed to someone who never valued it. That is where most men collapse. They drown the wound in lust. They chase distraction, not discipline. And every indulgence weakens the very frame that could have saved them. Epictetus warned, "No man is free who is a slave to his body." The same applies to lust. The body craves release, but the undisciplined man becomes controlled by what he chases. In the ancient world, soldiers in campaigns were forbidden excess. They trained in hunger, not indulgence, because a man who could not govern desire could not govern others. Strength was measured in restraint. Modern men have forgotten this. They live in apartments haunted by betrayal, then scroll into the night, trading dignity for pixels, trading power for fleeting dopamine. Lust becomes the chain, not the escape, and the frame suffers. Your masculine frame is not just posture or tone. It is the invisible structure that tells her and the world you cannot be bent. Betrayal tests it. Lust corrodes it, but discipline reinforces it. Female psychology reads your frame instantly. If you stand fractured, she feels it. If you stand unbroken, she orbits you, even when she resents you. Guard your frame like a fortress, because the man who masters betrayal and lust does not only survive, he becomes untouchable. Control lust before it controls you, and ask yourself, are you building a frame that can withstand betrayal, or are you quietly handing women the tools to dismantle you? Point number 6, turning pain into discipline. Pain is the one teacher every man meets. Sometimes it walks in as betrayal, sometimes as a rejection, other times as the silent emptiness of being forgotten. Most men run from it. They numb it with distractions, alcohol, lust, or anger. But the man who runs only guarantees the pain will return, sharper each time. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is the law of discipline. Pain is not the end. It is the raw material of transformation. Think of the ancient warrior scarred in battle. His wounds were not shameful. They were reminders of survival. Each scar hardened his resolve, teaching him where his defense was weak. Now think of the modern man. The layoff notice taped to the fridge, the custody ruling in a sterile courtroom, the bed that feels twice as empty after betrayal. These are the scars of today. You cannot erase them, but you can forge them into discipline. Wake earlier, train harder, read sharper, work in silence. Every act of control converts pain into strength. Female psychology feels the difference instantly. A man drowning in pain chases comfort. A man who forged pain into discipline radiates a presence she cannot dismiss. He becomes heavy, unshakable, magnetic. This is why Stoic detachment is not coldness. It is heat refined. It is rage and sorrow reshaped into power no one can see but everyone can feel. Never waste pain. Ask yourself, what agony still owns you because you refuse to turn it into discipline? Point number 7. The paradox of distance and desire. The harder you chase, the faster she slips away. The moment you make her the center, she starts looking elsewhere. This is the paradox every man must face. Desire is not born in closeness. It is born in the distance. It grows in the space where uncertainty lives. A woman cannot obsess over what she fully possesses. She only obsesses when she cannot read you, cannot predict you, cannot pin you down. Seneca said, "Withdraw into yourself as far as you can." That withdrawal is not retreat. It is power. Because distance creates gravity. Think of the great leaders of the past. They were not at every feast, not available at every call. Their presence was rare and therefore priceless. Now think of modern dating. The constant availability, the frantic replies to unread texts, the endless explanations after female rejection. This erodes value as a man faster than betrayal itself. Female psychology craves tension, and relationship power dynamics tilt to the man who can withhold without cruelty. His absence makes her restless. His silence makes her wonder. His discipline makes her hungry. This does not mean manipulation. It means guarding your frame, refusing to cheapen yourself by flooding her with access. The strongest pull is created not by pursuit but by restraint. Train your distance. Ask yourself, have you been giving her everything until there's nothing left for her to chase? Point number 8. Becoming the man she cannot replace. Every man is replaceable when he lives like every other man. Predictable, reactive, willing to trade his worth for scraps of attention. That is why women move on so quickly. Not because men are disposable by nature, but because most men choose to live disposable lives. The rare man refuses this. He builds himself into a standard that cannot be copied. A man whose silence carries weight, whose frame does not bend, whose value is not up for negotiation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This is the blueprint. Stop chasing the image of a strong man. Start embodying it so fully that she feels it without words. In history, kings could be dethroned, generals replaced. But legends could not be erased. They lived in the minds of both enemies and lovers, because their presence was carved into memory. Today, your test is no different. Female psychology measures. Will you fold like the others, or will you stand unshaken? In modern dating trauma, this is the only edge left. A man who cannot be replaced is not the richest or the loudest. He is the one who turned pain into discipline, the one who mastered lust instead of being mastered by it, the one who made detachment from his weapon and silenced his command. Becoming that man is not about her at all. It is about becoming someone you yourself respect so deeply that losing her does not bend you. Never negotiate your value. Ask yourself, if she walked away tonight, would she remember your absence as a void no other man could fill? You've seen the pattern now. Obsession is not won through pursuit but through restraint. Weakness drains desire, while discipline sharpens it. Distance creates hunger, and your frame decides if she stays or strays. The truth is simple, but it is not easy. Women don't replace men because they want to. They replace men because most give them nothing worth remembering. So ask yourself, are you building yourself into the man she cannot forget? Or are you quietly dissolving into the crowd of the replaceable? If this truth cut deep, subscribe to Stoic Truth, like this video, and share it with a man who needs to face himself.